Grum, 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 grum. What does GROM even mean? I actually looked it up. GROM means young precocious surfer, for anybody who was curious. Ramon. Hello and welcome back to All Scale RC. We're working on 2 GROMs and this is going to be a 2-part video. This brushless one over here is going to get some big power, a new wing and a wheelie bar, and this brush model is going to get sand tires and a new body, and it's going to inherit the brushless system out of this, since I'm going to put a way bigger system in the brushless one. Alright, so how many of you guys like me got all excited when the GROM came out and ordered the brushed version to later find out that they were releasing a brushless version? So yes, I ended up getting both the brushed and brushless. Now Arrma was pretty slick with what they did, because the brush models are available in different colors from the brushless models. So if you want some of the brushed colors for your brushless model, you would have to buy a different body, or you can just buy a brush one and have spare parts. So basically what I'm going to be doing with these is, this one, the brush one, it's going to be a little sand car. And the reason why I took the brush one and decided to make that one the sand car is because the brush one has a lot more plastics. Brushless one has metal steering arms, hexes, shocks, and probably some other things. So the brushless one has more adjustability, which will probably make a better speed run car than the brush one. And also with the brush one, less things to rust. So this is going to be a dedicated sand car, and this one's going to be a speed run car. For the brush one, we have the Proline Dumont tires. These tires here are for the Arrma Granite GROM. They're the larger tires. And these smaller ones are for the Arrma Typhon GROM, which is this. And now I'm hoping that these tires are exactly the same diameters, because if they are, contemplating putting the larger tires in the rear just to give it a more aggressive stance, and the skinnies in the front. Now for the body, I have the Proline Axis body, which is made for the Typhon GROM, and we are going to be installing that. Now for the brushless version, we have from Beastmode RC a really large wheelie bar for the brushless GROM, or for the GROMs period, but it looks pretty big, but I can't wait to get this on. So I'm going to be installing that, and I got the rear wing. Now this wing here, it looks like it's going to be a better wing for a speed run car, since it's going to create less downforce than the stock wing. If you have too much downforce in a speed run car, and it could actually cause your front end to lift. So this is probably, the Beastmode RC wing is probably going to be better. So we are going to get that installed. By we, I mean me. Alright, let's get these cars out of the boxes real quick. These are brand new. I haven't even taken them out the box. I've had them for a little while. Alright, so here is the brushless. I went with the black and silver. I really like the way that looks. That is a pretty sharp looking car. Let's get the brush one out the box and take a closer look. This was a little lanyard that I got with my order from Beastmode RC. I will put a link in the description to where to get these from. I am not affiliated or anything with Beastmode RC. I emailed them, haven't heard back yet to see if I could get affiliated. First thing I'm noticing between these two cars, for some reason the brushed one sits up higher, which for me that's a good thing, because I'm going to run this car in sand, so a little bit more ground clearance. Oh, that's definitely taller, which that's perfect, because I'm going to be running on sand. They both have front and rear metal axles. It doesn't say it on the brush GROM box, but it does specify it in the brushless box. I don't know if they're the same grade of metal, but they both have front and rear metal axles. The version I got of the brushless one has no battery in it. The brushless one is definitely sprung softer than the brushed one. Aside from the height difference, brush one has a 2-wire ESC and the brushless one has a 3-wire ESC. Aside from that, they look pretty much identical. The brushless one is sprung so much softer. Probably those better shocks. Now the brushless one will also be getting foam tires. I will not try to even run this with these tires once I put bigger power in this. Those tires will not hold up. Let's take a look at this body that we're going to be throwing on here. You're going to have to transfer over your front and rear plastic locking body mechanism. So you're going to have to transfer this over to the new body. So these will both have to come off and swap over. You're going to have to cut this, and so you're going to have to cut that and apply the decals that are included. It has pretty much a cool old fighter military style theme going on, which I like. Take a look at these tires. Here are the tires for the Granite GROM. They are actually really nice. They feel nice too. And here are the tires for the Typhon GROM. Granite GROM, Typhon GROM. Wow, they look so close in height. Let's measure this to see if it's the 72 point, they're about 72.15. And let's see, 74.60, they're slightly taller. There's about a 2 millimeter difference between the front and rear tire. That's tough. Now, it is running on sand. Sand's very forgiving. I don't know how much of a difference it'll make. All right, now they're directional, so make sure you have a left and a right. Oh, this is gonna look so sick. All right, now these Beastmode RC parts, they're nice and thick. You know what? I could tell you how thick of a carbon fiber they're using. So the carbon fiber that they're using for the Beastmode RC parts or for these GROM parts is 3 millimeter. Well, it comes up at like 3.3. So it's 3 millimeter. On a lot of their other carbon fiber parts, you had a choice on the pattern. And this is the pattern for the GROM parts. You don't have a choice, but it is their stitch pattern, I believe, which actually looks really good. Looks like I just got a delivery. And I am not trying to be like Kevin. I literally just got a delivery. I got a notification on my phone. While we're at it, we might as well find out what I just got. I just got the Primal RC purple beads. I got the beads for my Primal Gravedigger. So I recently did a video on this, which I put the trio wheels on here, went with the purple, and I love the way it looks. So I went ahead and I went on Primal site and I saw that they had the beads. So I ordered the beads for the Gravedigger. These are about $100. The wheels will still be black, but so it's gonna have purple instead of the plastic green bead. All right, next. This is exciting. All right, now, besides getting the rings for my Primal, I also got, come on, get out of here. I also got the trio purple wheels for my Losi LMT, the V1. So they're V1s, so they're wide in the back, smaller. I think they're 2.2s and 3.0s, possibly, something like that. But I got those for my Losi LMT V1, my Losi Gravedigger V1. Recently, these were on sale on A-Main. I think they were $118 a pair. So they were just on sale. They're normally $139 a pair. What do we have here? Now this is a 108 motor for this one. So that's the new motor. Now, I'll tell you what KV in the next video, but that's the motor that's possibly going in here. I have the 1010 motor as well. With the 1010, you have to cut in order to get it in. And I am not sure if I have to cut with this one, so I'm going to try this one. So it's either going to be the 108 or the 1010. But we'll see that on the next video. Haha, here's another good box. Perfect pass. Ross Schifrin and I, we have a great relationship. He makes awesome parts and I buy them. I got a little catalog so I can buy more stuff. Got the Perfect Pass gyro, the chrome aluminum shock caps, the black servo mount, and the black wing mounts. So I got them. And what else is in here? All right, this is the Arrma Limitless carbon fiber front lip and carbon fiber wing parts, and you get the carbon fiber shock stands. Just want to crack this open to make sure it is the glossy. That is the glossy. My order's perfect, just like Perfect Pass. A lot of stuff. Projects keep on piling up. All those parts are going to be, I'm building a full Perfect Pass build. Well, I'm building as close to a full Perfect Pass build. Unfortunately, the bulkheads, they're out of stock, so I did not order them. And the motor mount appears to be out of stock too. So I might have different bulkheads and a different motor mount. Unless they do come in and I turn around and order them, who knows. But that's an upcoming build. That was a surprise. Well, not really. I always get packages. My wife always teases me because I have stuff always coming. So just didn't know what time that was coming. I'm trying to debate which motor is going to be best for the speed run Arrma GROM. I don't know if the 1010 or the 10.8 is going to be better. We are going to be finding out. It's time for the doctor to operate. So there's actually two ways you can do this. Some people prefer to use a knife and they score the bodies, or you could just use Lexan scissors. I like to do a combination, especially in the hard to get to spots, the little hard turns. Like this one has a little notch right here, which trying to get that with the scissors is kind of tough. So I'll use a combination of both. I cut out the body, applied all the decals, and cut the little front spoiler that goes on the nose. Now, at first I thought I cut this wrong because I thought it went actually upside down, but it doesn't. It's actually a little tiny wing, which looks a little goofy. I'm going to put it on, see how it looks, but I like the look of the stock Arrma GROM body more than this so far, but let's see. All right, let's switch over the clipless body system. I already forgot how to undo it. All right, let's switch over the clipless body system to the GROM, to the new Proline body. Is it Proline? Yeah, it's Proline Access. All right, let's switch over to the Proline Access and pop this body on. Okay, so that is the front little tiny wing, which I don't think is gonna do anything, but that's the way it goes on. Front back brackets on. And let's do the rear bracket now. Trying to hurry up, trying to watch the UFC fights. Swapping over the brackets is easy. Cutting the body and putting all the decals are tedious. The decals are actually very nice vinyl. I did use the water and soap method, and I used a little bit of a heat gun. So they're actually really nice quality. Just time consuming. The decals, actually, I forgot to mention, they're not pre-cut, so you have to cut them out yourself, which that adds to the time. That's why it's time consuming. When you use the water and soap method, it's a little bit more forgiving. So it allows you to peel them off, put them back on, if you do mess up and not getting it perfectly aligned. All right, so here's the body. There is the body. I like that. The red did look good too. So there's the body. And let's take a look at these wheels here. Let me move my cup out the way. I had a loose grub screw on my nut driver. So here is the Typhon Dumont tires. Now that's how I would love this thing to look, with the skinnies in the front and the larger tire in the rear. But being that the front tires are smaller diameter, the rear tires are going to cover more ground than the front tires. So the rear tires would be pushing the front, and that won't work too well. It is sand, it's a lot more forgiving than if it was on the street, but I think I'm going to run the wider tires all the way around. And that is because on sand, when sand is dry and fluffy, these skinny front tires are just going to dig in. So with the larger tires, it's definitely going to do a lot better in the sand. Let's throw the skinnies on it first. I'm going to hold up the skinny and so here's the Granite GROM tire, and here's the Typhon GROM tire. You can see there's a huge difference. And like I said, they're almost the same height, but the difference is 2 millimeters. And that 2 millimeters will probably be a big thing as far as when this thing's running. But, so there it is with the Typhon GROM Dumont tires, the skinnies. And if it was hard packed sand, that would probably be fine. But for soft sand on the beach, these are just gonna dig in. I'll find something else to probably use these on. We're gonna go for the fatties in the back. Well, fatties all the way around. No offense to any fatties out there. So there it is with the fatties all the way around. Once again, these are the Typhon Granite GROM Dumont tires. I lost my scissors, and what size? Now let's build this wheelie bar and rear wing. Yeesh. The tire is rubber. It looks like it's hard plastic, but it's not. It's actually rubber. So the aluminum piece that holds the wheel goes on the wider end of the carbon fiber. There's no instructions, but there's not that many parts. Just keep on trying things till it fits together right. Now for the rear tire, the bracket is threaded on one side and it just slides through on the other. So you have to be careful not to over tighten. I'm gonna go back and put Loctite on this, but you don't want to over tighten it, because if you do, you might squeeze the bracket too much and it might cause resistance against the bushing. So you want to avoid that. But now it has this little piece here. So there's what the wheelie bar looks like so far. Here's the adjustment rod, and here's a bracket, which I guess bolts onto the back of the car somehow, somewhere. That goes there. Oh, I found how it goes. They didn't give you any screws for that piece, but I have screws, so I'm not worried about it. 3, come on. Yeesh. Well, that was a pain, but I got it on there. There's 2 screws down here below the spoiler, and your little triangle piece goes there. That's for your bracket, for your adjustment bar. You're gonna need longer screws for the bottom, because if you put that screw on with this, you're not gonna get enough bite. So I have to find other screws. Let's see, is that the same size? I think the screws I need are M2.5s. Countersunk. Gonna have to add those to my Amazon list. I need some countersunk M2.5s for the bottom of the rear spoiler, but for now, just to get it mounted up so you guys can see how it looks, we're gonna throw it on with these button head screws. I don't like it, but it's what I have. What I have for now. We'll swap them out. They're Phillips head on top of it, which I hate. I don't think these will reach. Let's see. I'll use the factory ones, but I still want to get some longer ones. Factory ones will reach, but I wouldn't trust it. Okay, too short. This swing's in my way, so I'm just gonna undo it. Swapping it out anyway. So basically, it has these little aluminum pieces. You have to screw into the side pieces of the wing, and those screws are provided. So you get 6 screws. I wish they would have used black hardware, but you could always swap that out. Probably adding a lot of weight to this car. Everything's lining up good so far, so that's a plus if you use the right size driver. All right, before let's clean some of this stuff off here before we show you. So I didn't like the look of the tires on here, and I have 2 different size foams here, and the rear foam is slightly taller than the front foams, and they're much wider. Now, the only way I could use them is if I get a truing machine or find somebody to true these for me. I could take a little bit of foam off the rear and make them the same height as the front, and then that would work. Or else I would have to change gearing. I think it'll be easier just to make the rear tire smaller, or get just the same foams as the front for the rear. I like the look of the wider in the rear. I just like that staggered look. So I might try to pick up a machine. They can't be that expensive, and true these tires to make them both equal diameter. Now, here it is. This is the Beastmode Racing rear wing and wheelie bar. So there's how it mounts underneath. I suggest getting different longer screws for the bottom, because you just added 3 millimeters of carbon fiber there without making the screws any longer. So I suggest getting longer screws than your stock screws. And you are going to need screws to mount the adjusting rod. You're going to need screws to do that. And on the rear tire, and possibly even on the aluminum bracket, probably some Loctite. Don't over tighten the rear. You're gonna push down on that bronze bushing in the rear tire, and it's gonna cause drag. And once again, this is the Proline Axis body with the Proline Granite GROM Dumont tires. So that's all that's done to this. Now, the brushless motor that's in this one is gonna go to this one, and I am gonna be putting a bigger motor on this brushless one. It's gonna get a way bigger motor. Another thing that I had to do, I forgot to mention, the little fin in the back of your Typhon body, I did have to notch it. I notched it out to make the spoiler fit, but that was all that I had to do to get that spoiler to fit. But there it is, guys. I like the way they look. They definitely look more aggressive. But to be honest with you, the Typhon GROM is a good looking little RC. The way it comes, like you don't have to do this stuff to it. But I love modding stuff. So there it is. This one's gonna be for the sand. And this one is gonna be a speedrun car. Well, this video took a lot longer. Last time I tried to mod 2 cars at once. But this took a lot longer. This body is tedious. Well, any body. Trying to get it right is tedious. The Beastmode RC stuff was easy to put on. Except for if I had hardware and I'd have to dig up my own. Alright, don't know which is going to be my next video. I got a gas conversion I've been trying to get to. I have a perfect pass limitless I'm building and a whole lot of other stuff. So thank you guys for watching and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.